Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Matt here, and we back with another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. So, your boy is fresh off of the first ever Matter of Fact MMA draft, which is my very last video. Be sure if you got the time, if you got a chance, go ahead and check that out, where your boy took over the UFC and did his own draft, where I drafted fighters from the PFL, from one championship, and from Bellator. Brought them over to the UFC so we can make a little money. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to that paper. All right. So today, what we're gonna be getting into. There's not a ton going on, so to speak. Um, Today I was just gonna kind of drop in and just kind of maybe possibly bring a few people up to speed, so to speak, if you haven't been following the MMA sphere. So first off, Nate Diaz has turned himself in. As I mentioned in the previous video, over the weekend, Nate Diaz was at some sort of I believe it was a celebrity boxing event or influencer boxing event, some sort of a boxing event. He was there and apparently got into a little scuffle, a little scrape up, got into altercation outside of the event where a Logan Paul lookalike, yes, that is correct, a Logan Paul lookalike ran up on Nate Diaz and Nate Diaz choked him out. Now, if you look at the footage, Google it, you can find it. Uh, it looked like there was a bunch of fights going on all around, and this guy just kind of ran up on Nate at the wrong time, and that was about it for him. So, nevertheless, I don't believe that guy is actually pressing charges now that a little bit more info was coming out. But Nate Diaz he was wanted. He did turn himself in, and he is back out now after making bond. So I'm not sure where all that would go, nor do I really think Nate Diaz really cares. I mean, at the end of the day, when you got Nate Diaz money, you got Conor McGregor money, John Jones money, man, you can get in trouble a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? When you broke, you better not get in no trouble when you broke. But if you got a little bit of paper, you know what I'm saying, you can get in a little trouble now. Depends on the type of trouble. But if your trouble is just a harmless little scrape up, or if you might punch an old dude in a bar one day or something, you can beat some charges, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know whatever come from that Nate Diaz thing, but let's just touch back on the fact that the guy he choked out is a Logan Paul impersonator. And I'm sure that guy is probably getting a bag either way it goes. But you just got to think about, of all the people in the world to impersonate, you choose to impersonate Logan Paul. And that's no disrespect to Logan Paul, but I just find that interesting that somebody's job, his career, what he puts on his resume is Logan Paul impersonator. That's pretty cool. But again, that guy's probably getting to the bag being an impersonator, so good for him. This weekend in the UFC, we have a fight card going down that no one seems to care about. And that's no disrespect to the fighters on it. But the main event is Song Yadong stepping in the ring against Ricky Simone. Um, that's what it is. I don't really have much of a take on that. I mean, the rest of the card, there's a couple of fighters sprinkled here and there that you might care to see, but I'm sure there's going to be a couple of good fights on there, but it's nothing that's, nothing to cancel your other plans for, to sit at home to watch it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's that. But the main event is Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone. I can't even begin to break that down. I'm not sure who's going to take that one. If I was going to bet money, and this is my last dollar and I got to put it down on a fighter, I guess, probably put it on Song Yadong, but I don't know. Ricky Simone is a dog in there, so I don't know who's going to take that, but that's the main event of the fight show this weekend. Again, doesn't seem like anyone is talking about it or really too worried about it. So, what are you going to say about that? Outside of that, Israel Adesanya, your middleweight champion, did a podcast, I believe yesterday is when it came out, with his brother, in which they were hanging out. They were discussing fights and, mental aspects of fighting, and Izzy was dropping knowledge. At one point, Izzy did lay into Dricus du Plessis. It was kind of, it is what it is. I mean, his whole beef with Dricus du Plessis and Dricus's beef with Usman and all of them is, it's a little dicey, as some would say. But, um, he just kind of, you know, told his side of what he felt about Dricus du Plessis, and that was that. A few little racial remarks in there, but it is what it is, bro. They're in the fight game. What do you expect? They're not getting ready to sit up there and list each other's credentials, and I mean, it is what it is, bro. It's a fight game. They're gonna talk bad about each other. What can you do? But he was on there saying some stuff. What I found to be interesting is he kept saying Dricus was next, and I'm thinking, is he not aware that he has to fight Robert Whitaker? Because for one, the way that that fight was spun by the media, or by the UFC and Dana, is whoever wins between Robert and Dricus is gonna get the shot at Izzy. But Izzy was already saying on this podcast Dricus is next. So I'm not sure if he was aware that that fight is for the for the title shot, or what's going on there. I mean, obviously, if Dricus wins, he's going to get a title shot. But if Dricus loses, there's no way they're going to make Robert sit out and then give Dricus a title shot off of a loss. I mean, they've done a lot of crazy things, but I don't think the UFC would do that. But that was about it for that. I mean, he didn't really do too much else but Izzy stuff. So that was cool. If y'all get a chance, y'all check that out. Cool little podcast episode. And outside of that, man, that's about it for today. There's not a lot going on, so to speak, at the moment. Like I said, I got this card coming up this weekend, and, we're basically biding our time until Aljamain Sterling steps in to defend the bantamweight belt against Henry Cejudo in a few weeks. So, it is what it is. But I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Like, subscribe, comment. Be sure to check out my UFC draft video. It's my previous video before this one. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and everything. And until next time, thank you for joining for me. I almost forgot. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll see you next time. Peace.